All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Reincarnation. Our souls existed before we were born and continue to exist before we die. And the process of being reborn continues over and over as our souls evolve spiritually. Srila Prabhupada said, "Depend on Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, and everything will work out." Reverend Radhanath Swami said, "When we love those who love the Lord reveals His love to us." Krishna sends His loving devotees to this world so that we can transfer our attachment. Friends, please subscribe my channel. Your subscriptions drives me to read more and more. Today I am going to read Reincarnation, Socrates to Salinger. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Canto 2. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Does life begin with birth and end with death? Have we lived before? Such questions are normally identified with religions of the East, but the life of man is known to endure not only from the cradle to the grave, but through millions of ages, and the acceptance of the idea of rebirth is nearly universal. As Arthur Schopenhauer, the great 19th century German philosopher, once observed, were an Asiatic to ask me for a definition of Europe, I should be forced to answer him. It is that part of the world which is haunted by the incredible delusion that man was created out of nothing, and that his present birth is his first entrance into life. Indeed, the dominant ideology of the West, material science, has for several centuries stifled any serious or widespread interest in the pre-existence and survival of consciousness beyond the present body. But throughout Western history, there have always been thinkers who have understood and affirmed the immortality of consciousness and transmigration of the soul. And a multitude of philosophers, authors, artists, scientists, and politicians have given the idea thoughtful consideration. Friends, now I am going to read another part of the same chapter. This is called Ancient Greece. Among the ancient Greece, Socrates, Pythagoras, and Plato may be numbered among those who made reincarnation an integral part of their teachings. At the end of his life, Socrates said, "I am confident that there truly is such a thing as living again, and that living spring from the dead." Pythagoras claimed he could remember his past lives, and Plato presented detailed accounts of reincarnation in his major works. Briefly, he held that the pure soul falls from the plane of absolute reality because of sensual desire and then takes on a physical body. First, the fallen souls take birth in human forms, the highest of which is that of the philosopher, who strives for higher knowledge. If his knowledge becomes perfect, the philosopher can return to an eternal existence. But if he becomes hopelessly entangled in material desires, he descends into the animal species of life. Plato believed that gluttons and drunkards may become asses in future lives. Violent and unjust people may take birth as wolves and hawks, and blind followers of social convention may become ants or bees. After some time, the soul again attains a human form and another chance to achieve liberation. Some scholars believe that Plato and other early Greek philosophers derived their knowledge of reincarnation from mystery religions like Orphism or from India. Friends, now I am going to read another part of the same chapter. The title is called Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Hints of reincarnation are also common in the history of Judaism and early Christianity. Information about past and future lives is found throughout the Kabbalah, which according to many Hebraic scholars represents the hidden wisdom behind the scriptures. In the Zohar, one of the principal Kabbalistic texts, it is said the souls must re-enter the absolute substance whence they have emerged. But to accomplish this, they must develop all the perfections, the germ of which is planted in them. And if they have not fulfilled this condition during one life, they must commence another, a third, and so forth, until they have acquired the condition which fits them for reunion with God. According to the Universal Jewish Encyclopedia, the Hasidic Jews hold similar beliefs. In the 3rd century AD, the theologian Origen, one of the fathers of the early Christian church and its most accomplished biblical scholar, wrote, "By some inclination toward evil, certain souls come into bodies, first of men, and then through their association with the irrational passions, after the allotted span of human life, they are changed into beasts from which they sink to the level of plants. From this condition, they rise again through the same stages and are restored to their heavenly place." There are many passages in the Bible itself indicating that Christ and his followers were aware of the principle of reincarnation. Once, the disciples of Jesus asked him about the Old Testament prophecy that Elias would reappear on earth. In the Gospel of St. Matthew, we read, "And Jesus answered them, Elias shall truly first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not." Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. In other words, Jesus declared that John the Baptist, who was beheaded by Herod, was a reincarnation of the prophet Elias. In another instance, Jesus and his disciples came across a blind man from birth. The disciples asked Jesus, "Who did see, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Regardless who had seen, Jesus replied, "Here was a chance to show a work of God." He then cured the man. Now, had the man been born blind for a sin of his own, it must have been a sin done before his birth, and that is in a previous life. And this was a suggestion that Jesus did not dispute. The Quran says, "And you were dead, and he brought you back to life, and he shall cause you to die, and he shall bring you back to life, and in the end shall gather you unto himself." Among the followers of Islam, the Sufis especially believe that death is no loss, but the immortal soul continually passes through different bodies. Jalauddin Rumi, a famous Sufi poet, writes, "I died as a mineral and became a plant. I died as a plant and rose to animal. I died as an animal and I was a man. Why should I fear when I was less by dying?" The timeless Vedic scriptures of India confirm that the soul, according to its identification with material nature, takes one of 8,400,000 forms, and once embodied in a certain species of life, evolves automatically from lower to higher forms, ultimately attaining a human body. Thus, all of major Western religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, have definite threads of reincarnation throughout the fabric of their teachings, even though the official custodians of dogma ignore or deny them. Friends, I am ending my video here. In the next video, I will again start with a new chapter. Please do subscribe my channel. Thank you.